Hello everyone, I'm super excited to be here today. It's been a while since I've done a recording with my voice. Of course, for those of you who've been around and even for my new followers, you know that we've been doing kind of a whole series on Alicia Keys. But today I wanted to get in here and sort of wrap that series up a little bit and also make a couple of other comments about some other things going on. In case you're new, my name is Olivia Benson and I am the author of this book. It's called For the Love of My Father. And everything I do here at this point is around the topic of healing for women, particularly with regards to our daddy issues. So if you're new to the channel, thank you for being here. If you're returning, thank you for being here. And again, thank you to all my new followers. And thank you for all the heartfelt comments. I mean, the response to the Alicia Keys series has been phenomenal. There were two parts. The first section I wrote, I sort of used the video for showing how she felt when she was 14 years old, which by the way I thought was absolutely amazing. I wish at 14 I had had her voice and her insight. So we finished that, and then we found the second part, which is how she and her father reconciled. And to be honest, all these years while I've been doing this work and even before in my own process, I didn't even know that existed. So I'm extremely grateful that I found it, because it was interesting for me to see and because clearly it's been helpful to a lot of people. We have so many views on YouTube of the different segments and so many comments and heartfelt comments. And to the best of my ability, I have attempted to respond to them all. Now, with regards to Alicia, the reason I wanted to jump in is because her story has what some might consider to be a happy ending. In that if you watch the video, you can see that in the end, as painful as it might have been, they're kind of together. And if you haven't seen the video already, especially the last part, the reconciliation part of the video, watch them. Watch her face. Watch her dad's face. To me, it looks like in the entire end of that conversation, he is at the verge of tears. But I love this guy because he's on video, he's telling the truth, and still it's clear that he had some things he had to work through. If you haven't seen the video, he in the end sort of acknowledges, or at least they get into a discussion about the fact that he didn't know his father. And she asked him a very specific question, and he doesn't really answer it. He doesn't say what he felt about the absence of his father. And this is part of what I try to focus on in the book and in my discussions, because many of us are dealing with generational issues. This guy, as absent, as poorly as he acted as a father, was himself a fatherless boy. And the issue is, yes, these things happen. They happen to many of us, but we have the option. We have the opportunity, especially today, to heal the issues so that they are not continued. Now, for some of us, myself included, we're not going to have the option of reconciling with our fathers. The fact that this cannot happen does not mean that you cannot be healed. This is not the only way. Sometimes our fathers have passed away, that they're not here anymore. Sometimes they're just not available. Sometimes they're unwilling. And just because any of those things are true does not mean that your healing is stunted. Your healing depends on you and the work that you are willing to do. Which you guys should see that cup that I've been using on YouTube and Instagram. I'm willing to do the work to be whole because everything depends on you. There's a part in the book where I talk about Louise Hay and the fact that she often said that we should sort of envision sitting in front of our parents as little children and speaking to them and finding out what it was that made them who they were. Sometimes you have to imagine having a conversation with your absent biological father. This, in and of itself, if you can't have that physical presence to have this conversation, this, in quotations, imaginary conversation can be helpful to you. So I don't want people to get stuck and think, oh, first of all, for some of us, that you're going to find this father, because some of us really don't even know where they are. Second, that he's going to be willing. In the book, I talk about the fact that anytime I brought up certain things to my dad, he was very defensive, and there was no way that he was going to accept what I was saying or what I was questioning. He was resistant to the idea that he had done anything wrong or that I had any right to question what he had done. And many times, this happens all the time. People are just not going to go, yeah, you're right, I was wrong, and move along. That's just not going to happen all the time. And also with regards to Alicia Keys, remember, if you look at the first series, when she writes the letter, she's 14. Now she's, we're talking about more than 20 years later when they've reconciled. So the other thing we have to keep in mind is that things take time. So I want to make sure that you guys keep that in mind as you observe her journey and you see her results. Reconciliation is not always possible. It's possible, but not always possible. And it should not determine whether you're going to heal or not. What determines whether you're going to heal or not is your willingness to forgive and your willingness to do the forgiveness work. Please like and share. It helps the channel a whole lot, and it helps me to get the messages that I'd like to share with the world out there. It's always a pleasure. I look forward to speaking to you again, and I love you all. Thank you, thank you, thank you for your support. Thank you.